yes, the bell tolleth. All Hallows Eve is upon us.
Got cold in here all of a sudden,
hasn't
hasn't it,
yes, as pumpkins smile scarily, ghosts and ghouls prepare to play, and toffee apples are devoured across the land. Here, on MacCaulay and Co, we've been hearing gruesome tales from different locations in Scotland, and today we head, quite literally and full body, to Stirling. Or I should say, Stirling has come to us in the form of the Happy Hangman. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Oh yes, the voice goes with the costume, because I have to say, sir, could you please introduce yourself to the nation?
A few words of introduction are always a good idea. My name is Rankin, Master Jock Rankin to scruff like BBC employees like yourselves. And for more than 20 years it was my pleasure and my distinct privilege to serve this borough of Stirling as its last official full-time torturer and hangman. Hello there.
Hello, can I speak now?
Feel free.
I'm quite terrified. Sir, you look resplendent in your 18th century costume. You have your cape, you have your tricorn hat on the desk, and you're quite pale of pallor.
It's a Scottish suntan, sir.
Have you been dead for a number of years?
At 1791 I passed. Sadly I choked on a chicken bone, which is dramatic irony run riot for a man in my line of work.
So what happened to you then? I mean, how long were you hangman in Stirling?
Oh, for about 20 years, as I say.
20 years. And were you a good hangman?
Not particularly, but very enthusiastic.
Oh yes. Now you have this horrible bit of jewellery. I would have said jewellery on your finger, but it's not jewellery, is it?
My lugging knife.
Your lugging
Yes.
knife. Now,
Those unfortunate to earn the enmity of the borough bailies, the magistrates of the town, might end up with their ears nailed to the tron, the measuring apparatus by the market cross. And if they couldn't pull themselves free, I came through and cut it off for them. No extra charge, mind.
well, I think I'm going to call you sir. I'm not going to call you Jock Rang. I'm going to call you sir. Welcome to MacCaulay and Co. And which scary tale are you going to share with our listeners today?
Well, I think you've got a draft in here. That of the Pink Lady.
The Pink Lady.
The Pink Lady.
Sir, the floor is all yours.
Now, in Stirling, we're famed for our phantoms. We have the ghosts of kings, cut purses and commoners squirting out their ectoplasmic ears left, right and centre. But one thing we are sorely short of, and don't I know it as a single phantom, is female spooks. And the ones that we do have are all colour coordinated. There's the Green Lady, a serving girl in the employ of Mary Queen of Scots, who saved her mistress from a burning pent chamber, and who appears as a portent of doom, death, disaster and despondency. Then there's the Blue Lady, murdered mistress to James IV. But in the kirkyard, the most famous of them all is the Pink Lady, though there's some disagreement as to her origin. Some in the town say that she was a pretty young thing, a noble woman, betrothed to one of the brave Scots knights who defended Stirling Castle from England's King Edward in his siege of 1304. Like so many of those brave Caledonian warriors, her lover starved to death and she pined away from a broken heart, her spirit wandering eternally between the kirk and the castle until the day when they may be entwined once more in paradise. But others say that this sad story is not the truth. They link the Pink Lady to more recent events, though no less unpleasant. And to a grave which stands in the heart of the old Holyrood kirkyard, that of a lady named Mary Witherspoon. She was not a woman of fortune or title. She had no brave deeds or wise words attributed to her in life, so you might wonder why a poor widow woman of the old town should be so honoured. And she, my friends, has a distinction which none would envy. She is the only known victim in that ancient churchyard of the resurrection men. Those grim and broody, ghoulish grave robbers who would steal away the flesh of the newly dead to sell to surgeons and anatomists to be studied, sliced, diced upon their dissecting slab. Well, the doctors told us this was for our own good. After all, how else could medical science be thus advanced? This was small comfort to those who felt their hopes for the great resurrection were forever thwarted. For how could a body rise up whole if it had first been subject to the butcher's knife? A fine specimen, like yourself, my dear. You might command in the 1820s a price of £10 or more. In your case, sir, 20 pence in a Mars bar, but
Pushing it to that.
Dame Nature can oft-times be cruel. And you might wonder then how much was paid for Mistress Witherspoon's corpse. That we shall never know. For on hearing the news that the grave had been opened up, the surgeon who purchased her corpse took fright and fled the country, not to return for another 30 years or so. But in Stirling they were sentimental, superstitious folk, concerned that if she was not laid to rest in consecrated ground, the wraith of Mistress Witherspoon would wander and trouble the townsfolk. So they found a fine stone and placed it over her empty plot. Empty it remained these nearly 200 years. But still, in dead of night, a scent of rose blossom can be held on the air. And some say the spirit of the Pink Lady, still wrapped in her shroud, can be seen wandering through the kirkyard.
Wonderful stuff. Tremendous.
I think I was holding my breath for a whole 3 minutes.
Yes, you were. You should see the colour of your face. You've gone blue.
Did you see the
You've
colour of
gone-
mine?
Colour of blue. That was, of course, the hangman, the happy hangman of Stirling, Jock Rankin, or I should say, David Kinnear.
Indeed.
David,
Hello
welcome to Macaulay and Co. That was absolutely gripping.
That
I'm glad
was
you
the
enjoyed it.
Reservoir Dogs. You know, there was a Mr. Pink,
Yeah, Mr. Fink. Yes,
Mr.
that's how we do it.
Orange, there was a Lady Orange, a Lady Green.
That
Well, as I
was
say,
terrible.
in Stirling we've got no shortage to choose from. There's a blue lady, a white lady, a pink lady, a brown lady. It's like a supernatural version of the Spice Girls, except they're all scary.
Now, can I just ask you about Stirling? Because
Of
I live
course.
near Stirling and it's this is the main metropolis for where I do all my shopping, of course. And it is a fantastic part up in the old town, up where the castle is and the graveyard. There's so much history up
Oh,
there.
there is
Tell us
indeed.
about the walk that go on up there.
Well, I've been involved with the Stirling Ghost Walk since the early 1990s. It was actually my first job straight out of university. And I've been working in the heritage industry ever since. Not always on ghost walks, but developing drama programmes for historic Scotland sites. I was out at the Alloa Tower just on Saturday there, recreating the curse of Alloa Tower, placed on that by the Abbot of Cambus Kenneth. A foul story of blood, vengeance and deep
Oh,
unpleasantness.
can you tell us a wee bit about that? Because it's very close to Stirling.
Well, according to tradition, the Abbot of Cambus Kenneth took umbrage to John Erskine, the 17th Earl of Mar, knocking down the abbey and stealing away the bricks to build his new townhouse, Mar's Walk. And on the day that he was appointed as the third regent of Scotland during the infancy of James VI, a ragged figure appeared at the Alloa Tower, the baronial seat of the Earls of Mar, and pronounced a curse on him and all his family. Proud chief of Mar, thou shalt be raised still higher till thou sitteth in the place of the king. And it's basically a tale of murder, vengeance, and deep unpleasantness. A sort of cross between Take the High Road and Twin Peaks.
And who comes along to these tours? I mean, it's mostly tourists, or do you get lots of local people? Because I didn't know any of these stories, these ghostly stories.
Well, it varies. I mean, just this week, with Halloween, obviously, we have a great number of people coming along. But last night's tour, we had German tourists, American students who had heard about the historical aspect of the story. I'm always keen on keeping as much history as folklore. So if a story is complete and utter gubbins, and there are many of them that are patently ludicrous, as soon as you start analysing them, as I did, I wrote a book for the History Press on Haunted Stirling, and another on Old Stirling Punishments. And in there, I was actually discovering that a lot of the things that I thought I knew after nearly 20 years of doing this job were complete and utter nonsense. Jock Rankin, sadly, although it's recorded in many history books, isn't the last hangman in Stirling. He's the third from last. He didn't choke to death. He was sacked because his wife was known to steal ale, wine and shirts from the cellars of their neighbours, and the council thought it was too much of an embarrassment to have the last limb of the law unable to rule his own house and humiliate them by default.
Well, I have to say to the listener, yes, you're here resplendent in your 18th century costume,
Great
but
radio.
you didn't drive here. You actually came on public transport?
I did indeed. I've not really for any particular reason other than that after I'm finished here, I'm going on to tell stories at an old folks' home. Hopefully I won't create any more ghosts there. And came through on the train, just on the off chance that I bumped into George Osborne, because I might scare him into paying the full price for his tickets for
There
a
weren't
change.
any more hangman on the train, were there? Just
There was a Charlie Chaplin that I
was
passed.
there? Okay.
Yes.
David, listen, thanks very much for coming in.
You're most welcome,
The Happy
sir.
Hangman of Stirling. Thanks for coming in. All the very best for your walking tours in Halloween today.